With the recent events of Jujutsu Kaisen seeming to imply that we're going to get a manga ending with the bad guys winning, I'd like to point you guys in the direction of a character that has seemingly been forgotten by most of the community and what he can do moving forward. That character is none other than our MC himself, Yuji Itadori. I'm well aware that due to the nature of Jujutsu Kaisen's story structure, Itadori can come off a bit like a side character, especially in recent chapters, and part of that is due to Yuji's own words. Like he says, he's just a cog, another piece of the machine built to exorcise curses. A statement like this definitely doesn't give off main character energy, and for the most part, although this would seem obvious, Yuji is a cog to just keep the story rolling. Yuji was the main reason Mahito evolved so Kenjaku could take his plan to the next step, and Yuji was Sukuna's temporary vessel until he could get to Megumi, and it's specifically because of a binding vow that Yuji made. So in a very real way here, Yuji's will to live is what might have ended up costing Megumi his life, but that was all in the past. I'm here to tell you to invest all your hope in Yuji from this point forward, and to wait and see what he's going to do. Before getting started, I'd like to ask if you could leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, as YouTube tells me over 60% of the people watching my videos aren't subscribing. The first thing I'm going to touch on here is a pretty bold theory, but in my eyes it's a likely one given how Yuji's interactions have gone in the past. First, let's establish a few things. From the last page of chapter 238, where we see Yuji and Higuruma descending down on Sukuna, with Sukuna asking the question we are all wondering: what can Yuji even do? Taking a look at some of Yuji's duos in the past, namely Nanami and Todo, they serve as sort of stepping stones for him, where he has something to gain just merely from their presence in his life. When Todo showed up in Goodwill, he taught Yuji how to better control his cursed energy and gave him a new goal to work at, that being Black Flash. With this newly awakened Yuji through Black Flash and Todo's help, Gojo was able to tell Yuji had grown as a sorcerer without even seeing him fight, and was sure him and Todo would be okay even if they were up against a special grade curse. Todo and Shibuya gave Yuji the talk he needed to help him gain his resolve back and stand up again. And Nanami has been a growing influence on Yuji throughout his career as a sorcerer, on and off screen, as the flashback in chapter 231, where Nanami is telling Yuji not to compare himself to Gojo, shows us Nanami and Yuji did interact off screen. So what is it that Yuji can learn from Higuruma? That would be a domain expansion, or at the bare minimum, the blueprint to making his domain expansion. I know me saying this, you're probably like, well, Yuji can't use a domain because he doesn't have curse techniques. And this is where the end of 238 becomes important. If we take a look at Yuji's hands here, they're clawed, similar to how Sukuna's hands are when he's manifested in Yuji's body. The difference being that Yuji's claws don't have the black fingernails that Sukuna's do. But on top of this, he also has his pinky finger back. This, coupled with Gojo's quote that eventually Yuji's body would become engraved with Sukuna's techniques, tells us virtually all we need to know for the basis of this theory. I'm obviously implying that Yuji has this to some extent, and given all this context, you can make a good case that it's likely. I brought up Yuji having his pinky back because it could hint that he has reverse curse technique now, which will be important later, so just keep that in mind. Now obviously this stuff doesn't inherently mean that Yuji could create a domain expansion even if he does have Sukuna's curse technique now, but that's where Higuruma comes in. At the beginning of chapter 37, we're told something pretty interesting about Yuji that is very much relevant to the conversation here. Or I guess it's not specifically about Yuji, but the context definitely applies to him. It is impossible for the hand to advance faster than the eye. If you don't have an eye that can judge quality, then you can't create something of value with your hand. That is a saying within the artistic community. Many disciplines also believe this saying to be true. The rate of growth for people who possess this eye eclipses the rate of those who don't. The panel of Yuji down here, along with the next few pages of Todo saying he's growing, obviously implied that Yuji has this eye. Like I said, this is extremely important because if Yuji just got a curse technique, then his potential has gone even higher, with someone like Gojo claiming 80% of a sorcerer's skill set is innate talent due to possessing curse techniques. Okay, now let's tie this all back. I want to point everyone in the direction of Higuruma's first domain expansion on Yuji, and more specifically what Yuji thinks about it according to Tengen. Domains used to be a more common technique for sorcerers in the past. These days, many domains involve deadly can't miss attacks, but it wasn't always that way. They merely forced targets inside to obey the curse technique's rules. That's how most domains function. Constructing a domain that is meant to be lethal requires immense skill, so the number of users decreased. Domains like this include, say, someone like the sumo wrestler that fought Maki, or even Hikari's domain. Neither are necessarily fatal, although the user could beat you down inside of them if they wanted to. As compared to someone like Sukuna's or Gojo's, where you either get your brain fried or you get cut into a million pieces. Yuji can learn a domain of a more simple nature like the ones they construct, because this will be his first time ever using a curse technique. So if this does hold true in the future, I think it'd be a bit of a stretch for Yuji, even with his immense talent already, to use a deadly domain can't miss attack, and rather just force Sukuna to play by his rules, whatever those end up being. This next part is going to be a bit more narrative focused because I kind of need to explain the world of Jujutsu Kaisen for a minute, but the theory revolves around possibly having Sukuna's cursed energy removed as a way to beat him. Throughout the story, there have been a few different times where fate has been brought up, and possibly the most important factors in this are Toji, Maki, Tengen, Yuki, and Principal Yaga, at least when it comes to the people who bring up the discussion or make it interesting. We'll go over Tengen's statements first, since Tengen should have the most knowledge on Jujutsu, considering they are the oldest out of everyone here. When explaining Kenjaku's steps up to now, Tengen says the unexpected happened 12 years ago when Toji Zenin intervened. He was physically gifted through heavenly restriction, and on top of that, he was an anomaly who had escaped from cursed energy. As a human being who had escaped fate through the power of restriction, he broke us free from our destinies. Here, Tengen is tying the fate of the cast to cursed energy itself, and saying the one guy who didn't have cursed energy was able to change the course of all of their lives when he intervened with their world. And I want everyone to think for a moment the things Toji set in motion. Toji caused Gojo to awaken with his assassination attempt. He forced Tengen to evolve after ending Riko. He essentially made Geto hate people without cursed energy, and his one and only child to ever be born was a kid possessing the Zenin clan's most powerful curse technique. In a lot of ways, you can say the reason Gojo vs Sukuna was able to go down the way it did in the story is because of Toji's direct influence on the world. Toji made Gojo stronger and gave Sukuna the tools necessary to take him down with Megumi. And as Tengen is describing it, none of this stuff should have gone down this way. Yuki even comments on this a bit in the chapter before as Yuji walks over Amanai's bloodstains and asks what happened here, and she says that it was 12 years ago. And now that she thinks about it, that's when everything began to get distorted while showing a picture of Toji. The aspect of cursed energy and the fate tied to it sort of become bolstered by the idea that the pinnacle of cursed energy, or the pinnacle of being your strongest, come when you take ultimate hold over your own fate, with a grand sense of self as the first step, and then overwhelming aggression as the next. Such as with the king of curses himself, Sukuna, who lives completely and utterly by his own rules. Sukuna is described like a calamity in multiple sources pertaining to Jujutsu Kaisen, but for simplicity's sake, let's just stick to the example in the manga where he is called the thing that surpasses the horizons of sorcerers and curses. Take a look at some of the strongest sorcerers and curses in the series. Gojo can control space, Kashimo is the god of lightning, Jogo is formed from the fear of volcanoes, Hanami from the fear of the forest, Dagon from the fear of the sea, Mahito from the fear of humans. Megumi can control the shadows, or if you want to take it in a more literal sense, darkness itself. All of these things have in common that they are calamitous, and Sukuna, in his most evolved state, can invoke his calamitous nature onto existence itself, a seemingly unbeatable application of a curse technique. So maybe the way to change the fate of the bad guys winning is by having the king of curses no longer able to use his curses. But how can this be done? We saw back in Higuruma vs Yuji that one of the punishments Higuruma's domain can put on a sorcerer deemed guilty is that they have their cursed energy removed. The only problem with this theory being that simple is that it only removed Yuji's cursed energy since he didn't have a cursed technique to remove at the time. I do want to say Higuruma is extremely talented just like Yuji. They go on to say during the Yuji and Higuruma fight that Higuruma in a total of 12 days after becoming a sorcerer was already on par with a grade 1 in terms of his capabilities. So if Higuruma is given even longer to train and gain more knowledge, perhaps he's found a way to even force this phenomena to occur. If that isn't the case though, then perhaps it could be a thing where he can stack the punishments. First Sukuna loses his cursed technique and next he loses his cursed energy. But even with that, Sukuna has to be extremely physically powerful. He's like 10 feet tall, extremely buff, and he has 4 arms. That's where Yuji can come in with the playing field finally leveled and beat Sukuna. After all, he has fought against 4 arms before. Now, for my taste, I think this is a bit boring and not really indicative of Akutami's writing at all. So let's get into another way Yuji could potentially beat Sukuna or have a resistance to him. This hasn't been built up for a long time, but for the past few chapters, there's been a small discussion around having your own cursed energy or things that are similar to your own cursed energy have less of an effect on you. Gojo mentions this when he's talking about why he took less damage from purple than Sukuna, and the narrator talks about it when he's saying Sukuna's curse tool didn't have too much of an effect on Kashimo since his cursed energy trait is electricity. When Yuji is talking about what he is now that Sukuna is out of his body, it specifically mentioned that he is now like a curse tool dipped in Sukuna's cursed energy, which could give him a resistance to Sukuna's curse techniques. This even might be able to go as far as the slash that can slice the world, since even though that just targets existence and wouldn't be aimed at Yuji in specific, the same was true for Gojo's Hollow Purple where there was no specific target. However, I do think this is unlikely due to the nature of Sukuna's new slash. Now the next part of this is going to be kinda wild and it requires a bit of stretching the imagination. If Sukuna's purpose in the story is to tear things apart and cut things as per his curse technique, and Yuji will eventually come to inherit it or maybe already has, would it not be fitting from a story perspective if Yuji has the opposite effect with Sukuna's curse technique? This is why I brung up Yuji potentially having reverse curse technique. The thing is, the story already has aspects about it that could make this plausible. I'm talking about the curse technique reversal of Sukuna's cleave and dismantle attacks. Now, I know people heard me say that and are currently thinking that I'm a madman for even suggesting such a thing could happen. After all, curse technique reversal would obviously require reverse curse technique or positive energy. Details on curse technique reversal are a bit scarce, but from what we can gather from both Gojo and Kenjaku, it's activating your curse technique with positive energy instead of cursed energy and thereby giving it a different effect. Gojo's curse technique is the neutral limitless. When he amplifies that limitless is when he gets blue, which creates the pull effect that we see. When Gojo does the same thing with positive energy, you get curse technique reversal red, which creates the push effect. Similar cases made for Kenjaku, where Kaori's technique originally is anti-gravity, but the curse technique reversal gives the opposite effect and shows us very heavy gravity. So what would the opposite of cleave and dismantle be? Well, if cleave means to split or sever, then the obvious reverse of that would be to put something back together. And if dismantle means to take something apart, the reverse effect would obviously bring it back together. We do know that curse technique reversals can be sure hits inside of a domain because of Kenjaku and Gojo. So if Yuji expands his domain with not just a non-lethal sure hit, but a sure hit that mends things together or heals it, could possibly even be used to put Gojo's body back together or breathe life back into it, bringing him back from the dead to actually defeat Sukuna this time. We've seen reverse curse technique bring someone back from the dead before, namely with Yuji and Sukuna after the prison, and the same with Yuji after Yuta ended him a bit before the Culling game started. This would solidify Yuji's role in just simply being a cog in the machine, and it would be a narratively fitting into the idea that you have to be selfish in order to be strong in Jujutsu Kaisen if Gojo actually ends up being able to beat the King of Curses thanks to the group he put together of strong sorcerers. As sort of a last point for this video, I want to talk about the possibility that Yuji has the ability to soul swap or change bodies with his opponent, something like Captain Ginyu, and how that can play a part in taking down Sukuna. For the most part, I don't agree with this theory that Yuji can swap bodies with people, and I think this page that's being interpreted that way is just an example of Gege poorly placing their speech bubbles. If you ask me, I think it's entirely possible that Yuji is being hard on Kusakabe here, telling him to master whatever they're training for, and Mei in the back is saying Itadori with the ellipsis in sort of like a "you're being too harsh" way. Now, like I said, though that's just my opinion, it doesn't take away from the fact that this is a genuine theory, and if this isn't poor paneling, Yuji could very well have the ability to swap souls or swap bodies. So let's get into the reasons why this could be the case. For one, to tackle my poor speech bubble placement argument, you could say in response that normally when Gege does this, they let it be known what character is speaking. I'll quickly provide one example here. When Maki says if anyone is going to help Gojo, it would be her, you could see a speech bubble pop up saying "screw you" and a little picture of Kashimo along with his name to show you it's him. Like I said, this isn't the only example of this happening, but it's a fairly solid counter to the argument that the speech bubble is just poorly placed. Another thing is that Yuji has been reading information about the soul, and we know from his fights with Mahito that he is able to both interact with and perceive the contours of the soul. And as a final little piece of consistency to this idea, it would be narratively fitting for Yuji to do something like this, since one of his parents, that being Kenjaku, also has a technique that allows him to swap into other people's bodies. So with that, it does seem pretty consistent that Yuji would be able to swap bodies, and that this curse technique might be the key to taking down the King of Curses.